again in a freaking Mercury energy, giving speeches and shit. And I got another feather. I have so many. Where are they? Everywhere, bro. Everywhere. Anyways, what's up, everyone? I am your hostess with the mostest, the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sybil. I am your messenger of God, the first child of God, the LILITH, the all-knowing fucking oracle that sees everything, here to give you some new messages. In order to keep up with me, you had to catch my other videos and what I post on my community page. And actually the short I just uploaded too. We're going in. I mean, I should have seen it. When I got a hold of those cards earlier, I was like, fuck. I knew it the other day when I started it. I was like, dude, you can't go near the dark night of the soul without facing your own dark night of the soul, bro. And even though I do it, I mean, I just accept that I have to do it. It's not something that you really fucking, oh, I can't wait to fucking face my next tower. Like, I can't wait till God destroys my next fucking reality. How about not? Hey, we do long-ass readings around here, and I'm gonna munch and crunch, and I encourage you to get nice and comfortable. What are you munching on? Well, I don't know. I had the munchies. I'm having, what are these? Check this out. My kid says they give them to kids at school. Mini, oh, well, this one's still in the thing. I just picked this up. I don't think I'm going to eat that many, but I brought a lot of them. Right? Peel them apart, and they got little cream cheese in them. But then I'm going to put some coconut fucking whipped cream on them and make them killer with some milk. Really? Yeah. I have a killer inner child, and when it wants, it wants. And actually, I don't even want to do this. I'm stuck with Metatron, right? And Metatron is teaching us... they're teaching us the spiritual side to science. And the scientific side to spirituality. And I'm stuck in the middle of this nonsense. So, we had been talking about, you know, the dark night of the soul. I got, all of a sudden, all these new teachings to go into it with these new tarot reads. Hey, did you see what I posted, bro? I walked over to Target. There was like a fucking 6 of them. They say that a bunch of crows together is called a murder, for those that don't know. We got these new tarot. I'm like, as soon as I got them, I was like, oh man, I don't feel like digging in the dark side of my psyche. I just made it out of there barely alive. We're going back in. We're going in. I mean, I'm always kind of in there, but I really felt the irritation of doing this again. Really? Yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to start with, I mean, you have to have something to look at. So we started the beginning of this saying that these are shadow cards that are made, they're in the form of tarot, that are made to face your shadows. We started with the Fool, so we'll take the next little card. For those that didn't see, the Fool, we're going to take our little journey, and our journey starts with the Magician. You're going to have to stick around to the end to catch the meaning of that card in the shadow form. Now, while you're staring at that, I am going to finally open this book that Carl Jung... Okay, this is also what happened. I got to download, right? This is all my fault. I had never tried... I said that. I just followed the books and I had done these, you know, subconscious invocations. I'd never tried to reach out to particular souls in time and space, but 2. And when I did, I was told, I was informed I couldn't because they're currently incarnated. But that doesn't mean I couldn't connect with their works. So when I tried to reach out to Carl Jung, we got shoved into all kinds of Carl Jung fucking studies, is what I'm realizing right now. And when I tried to reach out to Aleister Crowley, we got pulled into all of the Jewish mysticism and all the shit that he's been pulling on. So even though I didn't get a hold of the soul, I got a hold of the soul. What was left behind this by the soul. And the ability to see it from that soul's perspective, to understand that soul. So that's pretty cool. And what I'm seeing is there's, you know, in multiple things like these cards and the last book I got yesterday, completely unrelated. This book was probably published, I don't know, it looks pretty old here. Let's see. The CJ, listen to this. The C.J. Jung Institute of San Francisco. The C.J. Jung's and the Vision Seminar and author of Translate This Darkness. The San Francisco Jung Institute Library Journal. Alright, so there's people that have been studying Carl Jung's works forever, and I've literally done it. I told you a week ago, or to 2 weeks ago, I was like, I'm about to start walking into rooms where you need to be able to hold a real conversation. And the conversation is all about the workings of the mind. Have you started sorting your fucking mind and your thoughts out yet? Then what are you going to be, a pretty face in the room? And I made a whole fucking saying about this. I don't know if you guys have fully understood, but these people have spent their lives writing these books in the hopes that one day someone would access this type of information and harness it. And I have. You know what I mean? There's Priestess that have studied me in all sites of time, and I can actually come to them now here in the flesh and answer all their questions and tell them what they didn't know about me. And in the essence, there's people that have studied Carl Jung's work their entire life and couldn't figure out how it works. And I did it. How did I do it? And that's what I was also guided to take out is, Krishna's teachings. The science of reincarnation. The science of self-realization. They're called a science for a reason. I've done what science and religion thought impossible, but had studies about. Would you like to do this type of work with me? Or you could just sit there and be one of my fans, as I always tell these mother freakers. Alright, so we're going to get into Carl Jung's book. Again, I went looking for one of his other books, and I ended up with this book, which happens to be his last publishings. We're going to start right in the beginning on page 3. Oh, Jesus. The importance of dreams. Okay. Visions. You're seeing visions all the time inside of your mind. Don't you wish you were crunching with me too? Anyway, so those visions lead to stuff. And as a Pictionary, you start to understand it. So with tarot, we'll start to teach you, go ahead, have fun. That thing tastes delicious. We're teaching you how the visions... Sorry, it's kind of weird. I just realized something. How the visions represent something in your psyche. So if you were going to go and get one of those psych evaluations, typically they would pull out the cards and ask you what you saw in these ink blots, stuff like that. So let's talk about your dreams. Man uses the spoken or written word to express the meaning of what he wants to convey. Now I told you I'm with Metatron. This is before words. His language is full of symbols, but he also often employs signs or images that are not strictly descriptive. That's where I always say, I can't tell you what it really is, I can only tell you what it feels like. Some are mere abbreviations of or strings of initials, such as, okay, I'm going to show you these, and because you need to understand, I learned this when my ex-husband, he went through veterinarian assistant training, and he had to have all these medical books, and I used to look at them, and you know what I mean, based on adding these to a word, whether it be in the front or back, some of them, not those, but that's what a lot of medical terminology just adds a suffix or a prefix to a word, and that's how they know a lot of them. Really? Yeah, that's why their words are so fucking long, because they added a suffix and a prefix to the word. That, a common word that we use. Bastards. American English. Anyways, others are familiar with trademarks and names of patent medicines, badges, or insignias. Although these are meaningless in themselves, they've acquired a recognizable meaning through common usage or deliberate intent. Such things are not symbols. They are signs, and they do no more than denote the object for which they are attached. What we call a symbol in a term, a name, or even a picture that may be familiar in daily life. I'm seeing the backwards E. Everybody knows that's Eminem by that backwards E. Really? Yeah? His name is a symbol. Can we agree on that? Okay. But is it a name or is it something more? What does M&M stand for? I don't know. And if it is, you don't get to use it. Leave me alone during my videos. You always interrupt them and make me touch buttons and they fuck up my videos. Go away. I'm not doing it. The cross. What does the crucifix mean? It has a million meanings. That's the beginning of symbols. Before they had words, they had symbols. That's back to ancient Egypt. We had hieroglyphics, sigils, runes. Later, you got alphabets. You got letters that you became alphabet. Right? Right. Each land has their own, symbols, meanings that we, each of us know. We can look at that meaning and it means something to each of us. Okay? They are signs, and they do not what we call a symbol, let's see, what we can call a symbol is a term, a name, or even a picture that may be familiar in daily life, yet that possesses specific connotations in addition to the conventional and obvious meaning. It implies something vague, unknown, or hidden from us. Many Cretan moments, for instance, are marked with the design of double adze. This is an object that we know, but we do not know its symbolic implications. For another example, take the case of the Indian who, after a visit to England, told his friends at home that the English worshipped animals because they had found eagles, lions, and oxen in old churches. He was not aware, nor are many Christians, that these animals are symbolized by the evangelists, and they derive from the vision of Ezekiel, and in this turn has an analogy to the Egyptian sun god Horus and the 4 suns. Moreover, such objects as the wheel and the cross that are known all over the world, yet that have a symbolic significance under certain conditions. Precisely what they symbolize is still a matter for controversial speculation. Thus, a word or an image is symbolic when it implies something more than its obvious and intermediate meaning. It is a wider, unconscious aspect that is never precisely defined or fully explained, nor can one hope to define or explain it. As the mind explores the symbol, it leads to ideas that lie beyond the grasp of reasoning. The wheel may lead our thoughts towards the concept of a divine sun, but at the point reason must admit in its competence, man is unable to define a divine being. When, with all our intellectual limits, we call something divine, we have merely given it a name which may be based on a creed, but never on factual evidence. Because of our innumerable things beyond the range of human understanding, we constantly use symbolic terms to represent concepts that we cannot define or fully comprehend. This is one reason why all religions employ symbolic language or images. But this conscious use of symbols is only one aspect of a psychological fact of great importance. Man also produces symbols unconsciously and spontaneously in the form of dreams. It is not easy to grasp this point, but the point must be grasped if we are to know more about the ways in which the human mind works. Man, as we realize if we were to reflect for a moment, never perceives anything fully or comprehends anything completely. He can see, hear, touch, and taste, but as far as he sees, and as well as he hears, what he touches and what his touch tells him, and what his taste depends upon the number of qualities of his senses. This limits his perception of the world around him. By using scientific instruments, he can particularly compensate for the deficiencies of his senses. For example, he can extend the range of his vision by binoculars, or of his hearing by electric amplification. By the elaborate apparatus cannot do more than bring distant or small objects within range of his eyes, or make faint sounds more audible. No matter what instrument he uses, at some point he reaches the edge of certainty beyond which conscious knowledge cannot pass. There are, moreover, unconscious aspects of our perception of reality. As I'm reading this, I'm seeing the psychic book, psychic development for beginners. The first is the fact that even when our senses react to real phenomenon, sight and sound, they are somehow translated from the realm of reality into that of the mind. Perfect example, you hear a noise in the night and you're startled. You're never calm about it. Never. Programming. You're made to fear the noises in the night. You don't know what it was, but you're scared. So your mind reaches for what it thinks it is. First the logical, then the illogical. And then you spin out in fear. Alright. How often do you do that during the day? You see something, or you hear something. How quick do you jump? Your mind sees something, so it tells you what it's looking at. Right? You hear something and your mind tells you what it heard, based on what it knows. What does it know that noise is? It doesn't know. It fears everything it doesn't know. That's simplistic? Pretty much. It's just reaching for answers of things it's seen. It's the quickest fucking Google searcher you've ever seen. But it only knows what you've put in it. It's always trying to analyze. It's analyzing the information that you've given it. It's searching for answers using imagery. I've watched mine. How it jumps to conclusion. Watch it. Watch your thoughts jump to a full conclusion. Make a whole story inside of your head. A whole illusion. Play a whole game inside of there. With a simple question. Well, this is this, and then this will happen, and then this will happen, and then all this happens. Hold on. None of that is going to happen. Where did you come up with all that? And then you ask that, and then you see how it's starting to come up with these ideas. It's analyzing. The neurons are shooting. It's coming up with possible scenarios. It's pretty funny. Inside Out 2 comes up with, she goes through puberty and she gets anxiety. And that's exactly what this thing is doing. It's analyzing fucking possible fucking failure, social failure. So it's over analyzing and keeping them, all fucked up. You should watch it. All right. Anyways, because there are numerous things behind the range, blah blah blah. That's what it is. Your man, as we realize, if we reflect for a moment, never perceive anything fully or comprehend anything completely. It's because you can only see what's in front of you, not like you're literally in it. You can't see it from outside of what's really happening. You can only see, you know what I mean, a small portion of it. You're like, oh, I didn't see that. No, because you were all in it, bro. And then the more you hear people talk about it, you're like, oh, I didn't see that either. And no, I didn't know that. And blah, blah, blah. All right, anyways, here we go. There are, moreover, unconscious aspects of our perception of reality. The first is the fact that even when our senses react to real phenomenon, sight and sound, they are somehow translated from the realm of reality into the mind. That's what we said. Within the mind, they become psychic events. Those ultimate natures is unknown. For the psyche cannot know its own psychological, or what is it? Psychical substance. Thus, every experience contains an infinite number of unknown factors. Not to speak of the fact that every concrete object is always unknown to certain respects, because we cannot know the ultimate nature of matter itself. I feel like I could argue that if I knew what the fuck they were talking about. Let's move on. Then there is a certain events of which we cannot consciously take note. They have remained, so to speak, below the threshold of consciousness. They have happened, but they have been absorbed subliminally without our conscious knowledge. Well, that's what I do, is all this unconscious work. That's repressed shit. Say it again. There's certain events which have not consciously taken place, meaning I'm not consciously aware of this, but they have remained, so to speak, below the threshold of my conscious. They have happened, but they have been absorbed subliminally. My whole life happened, but it's been absorbed subliminally. I have no fucking conscious knowing of what the fuck I did. Are you serious? Pretty much. It's hidden in my subconscious. I thought it was the other way around. I don't know. It's somewhere. Are you serious? Yep. Real. So, like, I have a remembrance, and that's that saying. The body keeps the count. Your body stores memories, bro. Stuff you've forgotten or just didn't see. It's in there, bro. It's hidden in the subconscious is what they said, or the threshold of the conscious. I don't know. We can become aware of such happenings only in a moment of intuition or by a process of profound thought that leads to a later realization that they must have happened. And though we may have originally ignored the emotions and vital importance, it later wells up from the unconscious as a sort of afterthought. I'm like, the most recent was the other night when I had that memory. I'm like, oh, fuck. I did that? Yeah. You did that. Oh, fuck. Meaning, I didn't, and that's where it's like, did you remember it? I mean, it's in my memories. Yeah, I have a memory of it, bro. But I didn't consciously know of it. I wouldn't have been saying I didn't do anything like that if I consciously knew I did something like that. That's what I teach you, is you hide so much from yourself and from others in your own little memory bank there. You wash it away and you tell a different narrative, I guess. I mean, let's just keep going. We can become aware of such happenings only in the moment of intuition, right? So I was there with my spirit guides and it broke in. Or by a process of profound thought that leads to a later realization that they must have happened. And though we may have originally ignored their emotional and vital importance, it later wells up from the unconscious as a sort of afterthought. It's like I never thought about that. It may appear, for instance, in the form of a dream. As a general rule, the unconscious aspect of any event is revealed to us in dreams, where it happens not as a rational thought, but as a symbolic image. That could be for you guys. I don't see that. I mean, I don't have any memories of dreams. I never have my entire life. When I go to sleep, I don't remember anything the next morning. And if I did, I reached out. I felt that it had a symbolic meaning if I could remember a person, place, or thing. But in the essence, like, I teach the dream world in the daytime. I teach that. And if you think about it, I was walking through a dream or a nightmare. Who knows? As a matter of history, it was the study of dreams that first enabled psychologists to investigate the unconscious aspect of the conscious psyche events. It is on such an evidence that psychologists assume the existence of an unconscious psyche, though many scientists and philosophers deny this existence. And this is where we get real good, bro. This is where they plug up all the shit to my head and they watch me turn it on. Yeah? They'll see it. They'll see another part of my brain turn on, the unconscious turn on. I can do all that shit. This is where it really gets really good. They argue naively that such an assumption implies the existence of two subjects, or, to put into a common phrase, two personalities within the same individual. It's not true. The subconscious isn't a part of the mind, but it controls a part of the mind. The subconscious is the soul, dude. I'm not in the mind. I have to work through it. I get stuck in it. I'm not a part of it. I'm not operating out of the mind. I get in there. Now, as far as my personalities, we can talk about that. Those were different consciousness, but still not subconscious. They were full conscious aspects of me that were 3D aspects that we're handling, right? The information they were storing became subconscious information. That's the problem. The conscious wasn't storing information, it was storing it in the subconscious somewhere. I don't know where the fuck that shit is. I just find it. I get triggered into it, and it just comes out of fucking literally nowhere. I just see it. I just see it in front of my face. I see it play out a whole holographic of a memory I didn't know I had. An actual memory. And for me, when you're casted into a memory, any of you will atone for this. It comes with all kinds of feelings. You're in a memory what comes with feelings. I'm in a memory, but it's a new experience that I've never experienced, which is filled with unbelievable fucking feelings, because the memory is always a trauma. Always. Fucking always. You may say that wasn't traumatizing, but it was to me. Finding out I had sex with a person that I'm not aware of is fucking traumatizing to me every time it happens. Started with Bobby. He's like, I swear to you guys, dude, you don't understand what that does to a human psyche, bro. What started this? He's like, I always think about the times. I'm like, what times? He's like, all the times we hooked up. And I'm literally scrolling through my brain, bro. I'm searching it hard. What the fuck is he talking about? I'm trying to look for a sex memory with this guy, right? And I can't find one. So then my next thought was, wait a minute. What about sex with my husband? I can't find one. Then I go back to my first husband. I can't find one. Now I'm so back in time, and now I'm starting to panic. What about my kids? Where's my mom? What the fuck is... Oh my god, dude. Where's my brothers? I have no memories, bro. I have no fucking memories. Houston, we have a problem. It just started with something like that. Then finally, after fucking 2 years, I ask him, how many times did we hook up? The motherfucker says 10 to 12 times, bro. 10 to 12 times, bro. I don't fucking remember one. I was married to men that had sex with me, abusive sex for years. I don't remember one. I have 4 kids, no memories. Their childhoods, pieces. My life, pieces. I have worked for 3 years to put together the pieces, but everything I dig up is the most disgusting bones you never wanted. It's a fucking zombie. It's worse than It's worse than Stephen King could ever imagine in his wildest dreams. The shit that comes out of my fucking memories, bro. But it's not my memories. It's my first time seeing this. It's my first time experiencing this. Yes, I'm astral projected back to a place where I was this person, and I can feel what it feels like to be this person in this moment. And it overtakes me. So, Twin Flame X sent me a dick pic like a couple weeks ago, and I stared at it, and then all of a sudden I had visions, and I said it in a video and I didn't repeat it. I had visions of myself, like riding a dick. Was it his? Was it whose? Whose was it? Where was I thinking? Where was I? It was just panic, bro. I'd never had this vision before, but I could see my lower body about to climb on someone's dick. I panicked. Because in essence, it's like, I've never done that. But I'm seeing that I've done this, and I'm scared of what I'm doing. How did I get here? And what happened next? And who are you? And what is this? It's happened so many times, bro. I'm like 3 years old, and I can see an old man. He's about to put me up on a sink in the bathroom and pull my diaper down and have his way with me. I can see this, bro. All these crazy, unbelievable visions. So what did I see? I saw myself with Money B. I saw myself crawling off the bed and saying, it's all right. He couldn't get it up. I crawled off the bed and said, it's all good. And then I leave the hotel. What happened? Where was I? Why did I go there with you? What the fuck? So, I can tell you these stories now because I've already fucking told these fucking stories. And that's what I said, after the fucking first year of just pulling this shit out of my guts, bro, it just fucking killed, bro. It hurt. It was like pulling coals out of my mouth. Please don't make me tell them. Please don't make me tell people what's happened to me. But realistically, most of the time I couldn't stop it because it was in the middle of a reading. I would see it. It was like I'd talk to get it out, and I would see it in the middle of a reading and just crush. And it wasn't in readings, guys. I was just guided to start fucking going on live and doing talk therapy in the middle of my fucking music launch. The whole world watched me lose it, bro. But, you know, after digging up, it's like, how the fuck did I live a life all this fucked up, bro? Like, Jesus Christ. And that's what this huge, unbelievable mystery is. And the most beautiful thing is, you can't tell how much a person's hurting and what they've been through. They're always telling you that fucking story, bro. There's no way nobody in the world knew I'd been through it because I completely covered it. I covered it with beautiful makeup. Matching fucking, you know what I mean? Matching gear. A smile. Intelligence. Attitude. You couldn't even see it, bro. It's almost like, you know, they talk about these serial killers. It's like nobody saw it. Nobody saw that I was dying. Because I kept running from it. My whole life, bro. I've yet to dig up a happy fucking, you know, this was a good time. That's why I was like, I don't want to do this. It made me have a lot more respect for all the people on the outside that don't do this. And I keep begging to do this. They watched what it did to me. And they never thought I would come out of there. They never thought I'd survive those kind of memories. It drove me to my car. It drove me to homelessness, is what they saw. They saw me lose my mind and everything around me. It looked like that, but I mean, every time I do it, I retrieve it. I retrieve a part of myself. But it's like you're going to the fucking depths of the ocean to pick up a shell. You barely make it to the top with your breath, and you gotta go back down because there's so many parts of you that are down there hurting. I don't have any idea what you might have had hidden in your mind, but this is why I'm science's most undiscovered fucking diamond. I did it without science. But I guess I always did it with science, you know what I mean? Carl Jung was in all of my teachings, bro. They learned from him and taught me his ways. But I didn't have this shit, you guys. That's what I mean. That's what pisses off people in high levels. They're like, they've studied it their whole life and I've mastered it. Nah, bro, I did it, bro. You studied it. You don't do it, dude. You don't know what'll come out of there. That's why I was not you know, I don't do this. Like, I don't ask questions because I get answers and they're never answers I want. When my mind goes looking for answers, bro, it's not a good thing. Alright, let's see here. Where the fuck is this fucked up shit that pulled tears all out of me? It's scary in there, bro. For me. And that's what it is like, I need a man to accept that this is literally what I'm gonna, at any time it can happen. And this is what I've got to do for my own mental and emotional health. And this is also prized work that teaches others that have to stop it, that these thoughts stop them too. They paralyze you, bro. If you've been through a hard life, bro, some of those memories paralyze you. We have a very huge mental health problem on our hands, and I'm a person that's been, you know what I mean, that can speak to all kinds of pain and hurting and give them the tools from our ancestors and the greats to get them through this shit. But it's because I have to do this for myself. This is my journey, bro. And when I asked when it'll be over, they said the marathon continues. It could take me the rest of my life trying to figure out the life I didn't have, that I already had. But the good thing is I don't have to have new fucked up experiences. I've had enough fucked up experiences. I just have to learn from what I've been through. But it is all consuming. It's not just a self-healing journey for me. It is, but it's a whole different necessity than people that are just curious about being a better version and want, abundance and shit. It's like, no, I have to do this, dude. I have to find out everything that's wrong with me and fix me. I owe it to myself because I was all fucked off. I was a shadow of myself, bro. I buried every part of myself in the ground. I was something that people liked or didn't like. They were fearful of, but they were attracted to. They were, you know what I mean? They envied and shit like that, but it's just a mask, as he says. I was a mask of myself. When I started digging into myself, bro, all I found was pain and more pain and more pain. Underneath this hard armor is nothing but pain. But I transmute the pain, and the pain turns into kindness and joy and love. So, all this darkness I alchemize into light, and that's what makes me extremely powerful. That's what brought my soul. It was working through the pits of my flesh. And again, psychologists and analysts that study the mind have never truly understood how to access the subconscious, what the subconscious is, which is in essence the soul. How do you get out of the mind? You go in it fully. And that's what he told you. But they haven't done it. They don't know how to actually do it. They know it comes from meditation. They know it comes from, a certain type of frequency. They know you have to be in a certain state of mind to access this. They don't know how to access that state. They can do all kinds of, put you to sleep, type of shit like that to get your brain waves to do it, manipulate it. But they don't know how to fucking literally get outside the conscious. It just turned off. There used to be lots of thoughts, constant thoughts, arguments, combative thoughts, and, my personalities. And then it just went completely quiet. It's completely quiet in my mind. All the time. In the beginning, I told you it was scary. It was just silence. I just sit in silence. Too much outside makes me uncomfortable because I'm so used to the silence inside. And that's how I'm able to monitor things. And It's like the lights went off. And when you sit in the dark, your senses turned up real high. Real high. You can start to see in the dark. You can start to feel and smell and, That's where those six senses come from. Those clear senses and shit. Let's see. The first in the fact that when our senses react to, we already read all this. The conscious, Hey, take it down a bit. They have been absorbed, they have happened, but they have been absorbed subliminally, without our conscious knowledge. We can become aware of such happenings only in the moment of intuition or by a process of profound thought that leads to a later realization that they must have happened and that we may have originally ignored their emotional and vital importance. We turned our emotions off. We disassociated from the emotions of particular lifestone moments, and we have to go back to those moments. We were stunted in our emotional growth in those moments. We didn't know how to emotionally cope with those moments, and they had vital importance, and that's why they're stored in our memory as trauma. Let's see, something about a dream. It is on such evidence that psychologists assume the existence of an unconscious psyche that many scientists and philosophers deny its existence. They argue, yeah, they were talking about the two. And it is one of the curses of modern man that many people suffer from this divided personality. It is by no means a pathological symptom. It is a normal fact that we can be observed at any time and anywhere. It is not merely the neurotic whose right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. The predicament is a symptom of general unconsciousness that is undeniably common inheritance of all mankind. Man has developed unconsciousness slowly and laboriously, in a process that took untold ages to reach the civilized state. Oh God, and it dates from 4000 BC. The evolution from the complete large areas of human mind are still shrouded in darkness. What we call the psyche is by no means identical with our consciousness and its contents. Whoever denies the existence of the unconscious is in fact assuming that our present knowledge of the psyche is total, that the belief is clear. I'm seeing Joe Bart. This is for you, my friend. And that this belief is clearly, this is going to fuck with you, a philosophy major. And this belief is clearly just as false as the assumption that we know all there is to be known about the natural universe. Our psyche is part of nature and is an enigma and is as limitless. Thus, we cannot define either the psyche or nature. We can merely state what we believe them to be and describe as best we can how they function. Quite apart, therefore, from the evidence that medical research has accumulated, there are strong grounds of logic for rejecting statements like, there's no unconscious. Those who say such things merely express an old age misnonism, a fear of the new and unknown. There is a historical reason for the resistance of the idea of the known part of the human psyche. Consciousness is a very recent acquisition of nature, and it is still the experimental state. It is fragile, menaced by specific dangers, and easily injured. As anthropologists have noted, one of the most common mental disarrangements that occur among primitive people is that they call the loss of the soul, which means, as the name indicated, a noticeable disruption, or technically, a disassociation of the consciousness. I'm going to stop right there for a minute. That's where I teach you all the time. You're not your thoughts. That's why you need to work with your feelings. You work through your feelings to understand, what thoughts are backing them, so you can clear your feelings, right? But then you start to know anything. That's the intuition. That's being guided by your spirit, right? Not by your thoughts. And I should explain this super in depth in my morning video, is how, your mind tells you what you can and can't do, what is possible, what are the, what are the outcomes, everything. But it's limited. You don't put a limit on it. And that's why you replace that with God, because God is limitless. The universe and stuff to that extent. You don't rely on your knowing and your understanding. It is going to be there always. As I said, the mind turns on with, I've learned to calm my mind. But typically, I would turn on with, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then this is what we're going to do. And this is what we're going to say. And this is what we're going to have for lunch. And this is this, and this is this, and this is this, and this is this. It's an idling mind where you're just following what your mind says, every thought in your mind. I explained that to Bobby in the very beginning when I spoke to him. I was like, I just do whatever my mind says, and it's constantly yelling at me to get things done. So as soon as I get one thing done, I go on and I do the next thing. And I do that till I pass out, and then it starts first thing in the morning before I even wake up. Before I even open my eyes, I can hear my mind screaming all kinds of things I need to do and that I didn't do, and all of these fears, and how much, I mean, it just used to be full of shit. No. Really? I'll get visions, that's about it. I don't have all that. And that's because I worked through the minds, all of the thoughts, as they came through, until they silenced. And then I started working through them, you know, as they came through, one by one. And then it would be crazy. It's like, where did that thought come from? And you'll hear me. Let's back this up. Let's figure out where that came out of. How did my mind come up with that? And we spend a lot of time like, what the fuck was I thinking? Because you look back at these moments that you made a decision, and you're really trying to figure out, where the fuck was I coming from? Why did I think that was the best decision? Because you didn't see any other options. So you have to accept the decision that you made and honor why you made that decision. Not question it, but honor it. Try to honor where you were coming from when you made this decision, rather than persecuting yourself for the decision of the past. Honor where your mind was when it was trying to make that difficult decision and why it thought that one was best. And then you can lay it to rest. Trying to be mad at yourself for the past is not going to help this. That's not what this is. But that's the first feeling you have. Shame, blame, guilt, regret, and embarrassment for everything. You blame yourself or blame yourself, regret the whole thing, you're embarrassed about it all, blah, blah, blah. It's all something you wish you didn't have to deal with. These moments were extremely important, and they're replaying all the time, and that's why they can't keep coming to the surface. Really? Really. So there's that. I'm going to read, I feel like we've been doing this long enough. Yeah. I'm going to read the meaning of the next card. So we take the start. The first one is the start, our Fool, into our shadows. And when we first get there, we are met with the Magician. In the, the indrawn breath becomes the exhalation. Now is the time for the words of power. You speak your mind and your wishes become truths. The power of insight, healing, will, and connection obey your command, and what you envision becomes a new reality. The elemental powers are in balance. They are at your fingertips to help you shape and change your reality. Draw their power into yourself. Decide that you belong here. Believe it of yourself that you have earned this place. Keywords: strength of will, manifestation, use of magic words, and manipulation. Alright, so the Magician is a huge card in it because he takes the elements, as you can see right there. So it's supposed to be the cups, the swords, the wands, and the pentacles. And he takes it all together. You know, the raw elements, which are, you know, those are your elements. So your swords is your mind, or your thoughts. Your fire is your wands is your willpower. Your pentacles is your reality. And your cups are your emotions. You're going to put this all together, and you're going to create with that. But you cannot leave out your heart. You have to respect your mind. You have to respect how much willpower you have, and you have to respect the reality that we live in. It's a balance. Your mind can't overpower your body. And none of those can overpower the will of the world outside of us. You have to be realistic in that when we're dealing with the outside world. We can break the limits, but we can't... How can I say this? You have to be realistic. Practicality is something that you need to understand, that we live in a 3D world that's constructed by limits. We are limitless, but the world we live in has limits to what we can do. In essence, like, we can't just jump fences and shit like that. We could do it, but the consequences are heavier than the reward. Something like that. Same thing with your words. It's not all about casting spells. And you can't just use spells because you have the willpower to want some good shit in this world. You have to have a heart behind it. Your emotions have to be aligned with your thoughts. And you have to use them to will your energy in this world. Not everyone's a magician. They say they are. But they're missing the big picture right there. Their feelings. Your desires and your wants are not feelings. They're temptations of the mind. Have you ever tried to fast? Okay then. Those are desires and wants. You telling yourself you have to eat in order to live. If I don't eat, I'm going to die. Oh, that's not true. And if you starve yourself of your desires, then you feed your spirit. It's a perfect thing to say. Now, in essence is, a lot of magic practitioners, they want to build off of nothing more than desire. That's not heart. There's a difference between desire and passion. Did you know that? There's things that you desire, but there's things that you're passionate about. Now think about that. Do you desire your children? Are you passionate about your children? Do you desire a music career? Or you're passionate about your creativity? Do you desire a relationship? Or you're passionate about loving somebody? I'm gonna stop on this. I heard there's some shitty ass videos going on right now. The tarot cards video, the tarot community. I heard all of you today, and they're all talking about this fucking bastard from the past wants to come in, and their motives. Some of them are pretty bad. One of them really was pretty low. It was Lumen Moon. They're coming in to make a proposal. They want to get with you before you get your big fortune. I bet you do. I bet you do. And you think what? I'm just gonna take your... I'm gonna believe you? Whatever. That was dumb. Anyways, then Steve's love tarot was like, they wanna fuck. Pretty much. He was like, they're driving 5 hours for coffee. Nah, bro. They wanna fuck. This is a king of wands. He wants to fuck. She's like, all I'm saying is motives. When he said that, I was like, that's all that you need to know. Everybody has... I use the word intentions because it doesn't sound so cynical. Everybody has motives in their actions. Their actions are being willed by what? Right now, nothing more than their mind. What are they chasing? Coins. Not love. Not love. They're not being motivated by love. They're not moving in love. They're not thinking about love. They're thinking about power, control, and success. Who's they? Take a number and get in line. Isn't that all you care about? Is some kind of fucking financial success? Some kind of fucking social fucking, some social decree of some new ability or something? You want to look good to the peers, and you want to have a big bag, and you want to have that perfect life and great teeth and a new iPhone and whatever else everybody else is, jamming on right about now. Your idea of success is based on what other people have. I don't think that's successful at all. But going back to this, motives. Everybody's out for something. That's the reason that gets them out of bed. What gets you out of bed every day? What's their intentions? Again, when they approach you, what's their motive? It's not about being paranoid. It's being knowledgeable. Every time a person approaches you, they have an intention or a motive when they speak to you. They hope to obtain something by making contact with you. Keep that in mind. What do they want? You haven't realized that people are driven by wants and needs. They don't just do. They do it with intention. They do it with a motive. They do it for some kind of reason. Question people's reasoning. It's a good way to protect yourself. Start asking the hard questions. Get outside of your mind. Get outside of your conversation. Get outside of your group. Get outside of yourself for a little bit. Right? So a magician is a manipulator. That's why it says that. It's a person that can manipulate, you know what I mean? The things in front of you. They can manipulate your emotions. They can manipulate your mind. They can manipulate your reality. They can manipulate your willpower. How? By doing all that kind of stuff. And they call them narcissists and stuff like that. Where they can make you think, oh, you know, you're like, oh, let's go out this weekend. And they can say a couple words that'll make you think, maybe I shouldn't. They can change your mind. Douse your willpower. Make you question your coins. You know what I mean? And fill you with insecurities. No, we don't want to go there because they're there and they don't like us. They don't like us or they don't like you. Everybody likes me. Not really. But in the essence, it's their insecurities and their fears and their limited beliefs that keeps you from going out on a Friday night. I'm not saying you should go out on a Friday night. I'm just saying there's other people's projections. They fucking manipulate the shit out of you. Don't question people. And most of the time, if you're going to go do something, do it for yourself. If you enjoyed it, then maybe take them next time and watch how they're such a bummer. Realistically, I mean, kind of. If you have a great idea, then go enjoy that great idea. You don't have to share every bit of greatness that you have with everyone else. If you have children, then yeah, share it with your children, but otherwise, no. And even then, my kids don't want to do the shit I want to do. They're fucking teenagers. They don't want to do any of that shit. My daughter got on the bus, went with me all the way to the spiritual store. Guess what? She did not go inside. She sat outside the whole time. Really? Yeah, she just wanted to go for a ride. She didn't want to be part of what the fuck we were doing. I'll go for the ride. Fair enough. That's a compromise. She didn't want to know part of that bullshit. She's been in every spiritual store in fucking Denver. She don't give a shit about that shit. Really? Nope. She don't give a shit. That's okay. I'm not gonna make her. Just because she grows up in a house of spirituality doesn't mean she has to be spiritual. Just because you grow up in the house of a fucking reverend doesn't mean you have to be a Christian. Oh no, you're a reflection of me and they look bad upon me if you don't serve God with me and blah 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 blah. Alright, we should take it easy here. So, think about that. What are your motives? If there was something I could ask about the magician, I would say that. What are your motives? What's driving you to create? What gets you out of bed every day? Have I ever said something like that? No, but you think about it. And that came from Steve's Love Tarot. What are their motives? That's funny. I'm not against it. They want to fuck. I get this. I totally get this. You always want to fuck. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure I know which one that you are. You always want to fuck. Did you ask if I wanted to fuck? No, I didn't. You're fucking this whole thing up here, buddy. You're only looking for your desires, wants, and this and that. That's what I mean. People are like, you know, they just want to get what they want. Which is what? They're dick wet? You're doing all this work to, you know, pump and dump. I feel like you're doing too much, bro. You need to have some self-control. You're messing with God and the anointed just to fucking, what, blow a load? I feel like there's so many other pieces of meat you could go through without having to deal with this. Just to say you did, you're not going to. You don't get to say that you fucked a high priestess. That's not going to work. You see how fucked up that fucking image is? What's wrong with you? What are you thinking? You're not thinking. That's what this means. This is the point of this. You're not thinking, guys. Your brain is just processing and you're just going with the process of the mush in your mind. It's mushy. Alright, do I want to go any further with this? No, I really don't. I'm like, I only cried a little bit. I don't want to cry any more than that. Which is just telling you what I've already told you. Where there'll be plenty more to discover as we go into this. Listen to this. The identity takes a variety of forms among primitives. If the bush soul is that of an animal, the animal itself is considered as some sort of brother to man. A man whose brother is a crocodile, for instance, is supposed to be safe when swimming in a crocodile-infested river. If the bush soul is a tree... What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You Bush people? President Bush? In both cases, injury... I don't know. I think they're talking about... This disassociation means the splitting in the psyche, causing the neurosis. A famous fictional example of this states Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, That's only two sides to the coin. Come over here. Let's see. This is what the distinguishing French ethnologist Lucien Levy called the mystical participation. He later interacts with the term under pressure of adverse criticism, but I believe that his critics were wrong. It is a well-known psychological fact that an individual may have such an unconscious identity with some other person or object. This means that an individual's psyche is far from being safely synthesized. On the contrary, it threatens to fragment only too easily under onslaught of unchecked emotions. Unchecked emotions, bro. While this situation is familiar to us from the studies of anthropologists, it is not so irrelevant to our own advanced civilization as it might seem. We too can become disassociated and lose our identity. We can be possessed and altered by moods, or become unreasonable and unable to recall important facts about ourselves or others, so that people ask, "What the devil has gotten into you?" We talk about being able to control ourselves, but self-control is a rare and remarkable virtue. We may think we have ourselves under control, yet a friend can easily tell us things about ourselves of which we have no knowledge. That sound like you? I hate those moments. Hey, I know you. Oh God, here comes some knowledge about Lisa. I'm gonna love this. And that's where it is. It's like, oh man, I have to accept that Lisa was the body I rode in on. But Jesus Christ. I don't know. I'm hearing that Identity by Lecrae. You base your identity on all the things outside of you. You say that you're something because of all this shit you have. You're not any of that. I do this all the time with my celebrities. Their identity crisis and shit like that. Like, do you realize what you're doing? No. And they hate that I come over, especially Russ. Did you hear what the fuck just came out of your mouth, bro? Do you know what you look like out here? I did it to Marshall, too. Marshall was completely unaware of himself. Truly? Yeah, all of them were. That's called the self-realization. Really? That's what we do around here. I discover myself, and it makes you think about yourself. It mirrors back. So you see the broken aspects of yourself. They might not be fully similar, but you can relate. Everyone can. Why? Because we're all fucking human. We all have emotions. You just don't recognize them until I dig them up, and you're like, and then you're next thing you know, you're fucking crying. Like, why the fuck am I crying about this? Because you have a heart. That's a good sign. Cry for me, I guess. I mean, why not? I do. Some sad shit. And that's it too. Marshall's heart opened up when he heard my fucking stories. All he knew was his own. All he knew was his own stories. His own stories that he told himself, but I came in and taught him how to tell himself a different narrative. Something simplistic, that our moms weren't evil. And our moms weren't bad moms. That our dads running didn't make them bad dads. They were scared. We taught them how to think differently about our past. We have a very similar past, you know, my twin flame and all. But we can only see it that way, and I can teach people how to see it. I see it too. And I'm hurting by it too, but then God comes in and He shows me what to see. And I teach you that. I teach you to see it like Christ. Compassion. Understanding, forgiveness. My mind really thought my mom was evil. And that she didn't love me. My mind thought a lot of things about a lot of people. And I understand why it thought that way, but that wasn't true. My mom wasn't evil. They just said that because, you know, people that do these things are evil. She was an evil person. She was loving and kind, just not always to everybody. It didn't make her evil. And, you know what I mean? Her not showing me affection and being kind to me didn't mean that she didn't love me. She did love me. She just didn't know how. And that's where I had to teach it. We have to learn this. It's like our mind tells us these narratives about people. He doesn't love me. Nah, bro, he just doesn't know how. Well, and basically why? Because he doesn't know how to express his emotions. Is he a man? Yeah, we told him he didn't know how to express. They're completely cut off. Completely cut off. They don't know how to put them in words. Yep, so they might grab you by the fucking throat, because, you know, their throat chakra is connected to their hands, where they say, use your words, not your actions. They don't know how to use their words, so they have been acting crazy in their feelings. And then I see Kanye. And that just goes to show you, it's like you can't put them into words. And when you do, you come out looking fucking a little messy. Just a little messy. Are we going to sit here and say that, you know what I mean? And that, again, Nicki Minaj, I'm not surprised. Pac told us not to mess with her. Whatever. She was going through karma. But it's like, is she a bad person? Or is she going through a hard time, bro? How many times does she repeat this behavior before we say she's a bad person? How many times do we forgive her for her behavior? Ask Jesus. You gotta give people chances, bro, to learn from their mistakes. You can't crucify them for every mistake. And every time they make it, they're gonna learn a little bit more. That's going back to your children. That's going back to drug addicts. That's going back to your own self. Don't kill yourself for making a mistake, for repeating a mistake. You stop repeating it when you finally learn. Curiosity kills the cat, and it keeps coming back until it gets its answer. I'm going to keep poking at this beast till I get what I want out of it. That's the motive and the attention. Why do you keep fucking with Bobby? What do you think I want? I want his feelings. I want the truth. That's it. What does he want? I don't know, sex. Whatever. Works out. It's always an intriguing experience for me too. In the essence of, maybe not. Maybe not, because it doesn't lead to your truth, so forget that. It's just a bunch of lies that comes with this. Just know that, and question your own intentions. Why am I doing this? Be honest with yourself. Why did I say that to them? Why did I lie to them? Be honest. Why do I want to hang out with them? I want to fuck. Oh, wow, okay. Listen to yourself. Be honest, dude. Yourself. When you start being honest with yourself, the shit that comes out is honestly unreal. Like, oh, okay. I didn't know that's what I was thinking. Okay. And that goes back to it. I promise you I have a video. Go back in between November and December. Bobby, I finally reached out to Bobby after, like, running from him again for another year. And I reach out to him, and I'm like, you know, I had told him, we're not fucking around. You have to have respect for me and stop trying to fuck me all the time. Right? So finally reach out to him, and he's like, yeah, we're not going to be intimate. And I start crying. I'm like, you don't want to fuck me? And I feel all rejected because he said that, not realizing that I had fucking pounded that in him for over a year, and that was supposed to be the right response, and I got upset about it. And it was a total surprise to me. I didn't know I wanted to fuck you. But now that you said I can't. You swear. You swear. You have control over yourself, and you know yourself, and you know what you're going to do. And that's what he said. You should know how you're going to feel after this. I don't know how I feel when it happens. You're expecting me to have memories I don't have. I don't know how this is going to work out. How are you? That's what I said to him. How do you feel every time we do this? I bet you feel great. No, you disappear. You must feel like shit. Fucking loser. I mean, I feel it. I was filled with all that. And that's what I realized too. The first time I was filled with so much guilt and embarrassment and shame and blame. I made him cheat on his wife, and why'd I do that? Blah, 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 blah. Not realizing that, damn, bitch, it's been like 5 years. You were going to tear somebody up if you got a hold of them. I mean, realistically, dude, I'd been celibate for 5 years. I think there was a beast that was going to fucking tear up anyone that came into my bedroom. If you think about it. And that's more loving, compassion, and understanding. I have compassion and understanding for the fact that I couldn't control myself with someone that I knew I'd already had. I just had to have you again. In the essence, I mean, it was really traumatic, but not so much anymore. And that's where it is like, that was pretty bad. That was pretty... Oh, shit, saying I ain't never been in a threesome. Obviously, I mean, I got some memories of being in bed with multiple people, and I guess I was there. Oh, God. I don't want to know, bro. I don't want to know what kind of lesbian act that bitch did to me. Oh, my God, was I... Nope, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Oh, man. We were on drugs. I mean, that night, yeah, we were doing cocaine that night, but that's not, I mean, that's not what's wrong with my brain. It could be. Just kidding. Just kidding. I mean, it could have been. Did drugs before. I mean, I don't know. It could have been what happened, but it don't matter. I'm fixing it now. And that's what it is like, if I didn't wake up, I would have just, just kept living life. And that's okay, I suppose. But if you realize the capsule of a shell of a person I was, then I wasn't really living life. I was just doing as my mind said. I was minding my own business. Literally the definition, the absolute definition of minding my own business. That's all I was going to do for the rest of my life. I didn't want no friends. I didn't want no fucking family. I didn't want no boyfriend. I just wanted to, make music and, spread the good word. I didn't want shit. I really still don't want shit. God's like just trying to make me excited about some shit I said I didn't want. It's hard work, but it's necessary. And I'd be scared too. I'd be scared to face my shit. But we just face it, bro. It's already done. That's the way we get out of it, is knowing it's already over. We can get stuck in it for a little bit, but realistically, we got to come back to our time. And our time to shine. And we do have to go back to these dark moments so that we can bring that light and shine it up, shine brightly here. They suck. There's a bunch of them. I don't know. I got a whole lifetime of these fucked up ass moments where I'm going to be confessing to the world my sins. Hey, you won't believe what they did to me. You won't believe what I did to myself. I mean, you're going to have to believe it or not. I don't care. But, again, you should heal yourself. That's where it is. You see people acting up, you're like, you need to heal yourself. Meaning you need to deal with yourself. Where did that come from? It's not condescending. All of us catch those moments. A real spiritual split. I need to work on that. I am being very triggered right now. I am showing my shadow side. I'm being a bitch. I am not being grounded right now. I need to go ground myself. I need to go home. I'm not being a good kid right now. That's where it is. Like, I'm being low vibrational. I'm being shitty. I have a shitty attitude. I need to take my shitty attitude home. Not hurt anybody with it. Really? Yeah. Remember? I did it at the airport. I was all mean to those old people for no reason. I was like, I need to go home. I took my ass home, so I wasn't mean to nobody else. I was like, I'm being a bitch. Yeah, what's wrong with me? Then you get home and you're like, what's wrong with me? And then me's got to tell me, well, okay, and okay. And it's your feelings. Your inner child's bitching about the way things are and how your day went and how that person looked at you and how you don't like the way that your socks are feeling right now and you didn't like your makeup today and whatever. It just, that's the conscious. That inner child. Oh, this is nice. Let's listen to the mind ramble for a while about how it feels and thinks about things. Okay. You have to be considerate, supportive, understanding. That's that inner nurturer. And then, comes the word, yeah, fuck them. Fuck them up. No. And that's where it is. You just kind of, As far as my write-up, the inner warrior was like, yeah, no, we were in the right. And then I was like, I really got to talk about this, guys. I got to be honest. I got to write up for this. Verbal harassment of another resident. I may have not harassed the man this morning, but I was being harassing about the woman that needed to wash her ass and her hair. I'd been talking about it for 2 days. So if she heard me, then that was harassment. So I'm going to take this one on the chin, because even guilty of what they said, exactly what they accused me of, I'm still guilty of it another time. And I'll go ahead and take the persecution for this, which is what? A written warning? I'm not allowed to get 3 of them. This is my first one. I think I'll be okay. I don't really fuck with nobody. So, in essence, I'm doing okay. But sometimes you just have to admit to it. Well, I may not have smarted off to him, but I was kind of being pretty asshole about the other lady. I was, dude. I was pretty pissed off that I kept saying it. How the fuck? Why won't somebody tell her to take a shower? Why can't she just wash her hair? Why does she have to be out here smelling up the fucking parking lot? What did I do about it? I stopped going in the parking lot. I grabbed my shit and I started walking further away from the parking lot. I don't have to be here with your smelly ass. That's all I did. I just removed myself from the situation. And again, I was being a jerk. They can't... Lindy, let the handicapped people have the handicap area. You can go smoke somewhere else. That's just being aware. Were you being a bitch? Yeah. Is it justifiable? Yeah. Can you be better? Yeah. Okay, do better. Okay. That's pretty much it. Some people don't want to hear that shit. That's what I told Morgan today. I was like, Morgan, when I told you about, you know, your behavior with that chick, I was sure that you weren't going to talk to me anymore, but you took it and you handled it, and I'm proud of you, and you let it transform you. She's like, yeah. And it was funny because we're right there, you know, catching the elevator, and there's the chick, and they say hi to each other. You know, she's got her baby hanging off her titty. She does that a lot. I don't realize how much I used to do that, and how very visual that is. It's like, I used to do that all the time with my kids. I've breastfed all my kids. I just whip out my titty and just breastfeed him. Must have been a great view. Anyways, it comes from Mexico. They make you feel like it's the way, you know, it's just a bottle. Anyway, so, like, on that day, prior to that day, she had a lot of built-up frustration and a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, and I've confronted it and told her she needed to fucking put that shit down. And rather than getting angry and upset with me, she put it down. And she's had nothing but peace and everything better. And I was like, you know, and an example was, you know, Sophie. It's like, I'm really trying to be a good person, and I'm trying to be better, and I'm just trying to be better, is what she said. But then when I came to the point, I'm like, look, bro, you need to change your behaviors. No, they just, you know what? That's just the way that I am. And if they don't like it, well, then fuck them. Well, them is me. And the entire world. And if you don't want to take accountability that your behaviors are coming off, you know what I mean, unlikable, unapproachable, and just flat out asking for haters, then I can't deal with you. You're going to stay in that fucking energy because you don't accept that it's your job to change this. People don't have to cater to your fucking behaviors. You have to change. You have to have better behaviors. It's not about, you know what I mean, giving in to everyone. It's just being the bigger man. You know what I mean? I could sit here and be like, no, but they are always bothering me and asking me for cigarettes and blah, 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 blah. Or I could just be like, whatever. Whatever. You know what I mean? And as I did it, I sat out there tonight having a cigarette, and her daughter was all over us. 9 o'clock at night. Can I pet your dog? And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I can justify the fact that you guys annoy me, but in the essence, I'm not going to let you annoy me, and you know you're not going to annoy me anymore, because you know I don't like you. In the essence, I don't care. But you have to own yourself. And really, you're not the best person, bro. You can do a lot better. You can be a lot better. Towards your neighbors, towards your communities, towards our countrymen, towards, you know what I mean, a lot of different people. You could be better. There's no way that you could be a total Christ out here. I'd like to meet you if you're like that. But we can always strive to be more like Christ. Until we're there, no, we're still trying. And that's a good thing. If we're going to look up to someone, let's look up to someone that was a God. That was the, you know what I mean, one of the most powerful, that showed the most kindness. Going back to Buddha. Buddha taught you how to enlightenment. How to master your mind and your emotions, bro. Same with Krishna. They taught you how to control your body through this thing. They didn't teach you how to, you know what I mean? They taught you how to work through your mind and your emotions through life. It's the same shit you're going to find in the Holy Bible, dickheads. Really? Yup. To base it on faith. They didn't really put the faith in this. It's more of a science. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of faith-based believing in these teachings. And that's where it is you reprogram yourself based on faith. Belief in magic, if you will. The unseen. Shit that people tell you is real, but you don't know it's real. And again, if you ever hope to see a fucking dragon or a unicorn in the fucking 5D, you're going to have to start believing in the 3D. Can you see them? I haven't yet. But I've seen fairies. I've seen all kinds of shit. All kinds of shit. I saw something in Red Rocks one night. It was a mythical creature, most definitely. Enormous and white. I don't know. Bigger than a dinosaur. Big and furry. Something like that. I don't know. I couldn't really tell you. But stuff like that is you can't see the other realms if you don't believe in the other realms. If your mind can't perceive it, it'll never enter into your mind. It can't enter into your mind because there's a blockage. Your mind doesn't believe in things. And that's where it is you're not going to see dead people, bro. You won't see ghosts. If you keep telling your mind it's impossible. Oh, you might still see them and then have a huge ego death. They're there, bro. And they're not ghosts. They're actual spirits. You can only see them faintly in quiet spaces, bro. You can see a shadow move, a light flicker. You can feel the temperature in the room. Your senses, your mind gets scared because it's seen too much scary movies. If I would have known you when you were small and I taught you that when the light flickers and when that happens that your family's with you, you would smile every time I did it instead of run. If I told you it was your grandma, you'd know it and you wouldn't be so afraid every time the light flickered. You'd feel her in the room and you could see her memories and you might actually see her. Believing is seeing. Your thoughts create your reality. So, stuff like that. It's like you weren't made to believe in such things, therefore you can't see such things playing out. Your limited beliefs. That goes back to my morning video. Well, welcome. Tomorrow's Thursday. We'll be in expansion and stuff. We'll put some cards and see what's going on. I could do it now, but we'll just wait for tomorrow. But yeah, we're going to dig into the psyche, and it's made to trigger and bring up all of this stuff that's hidden because it had a huge impact on where we need to go. We need that piece to that puzzle. There's pieces to our lives that are hidden in the back and the past that we need, that turn into swords, it turns into armor of the future. The pieces, the foundation. You might find a story in there or an idea that you had when you were a kid, and now you're an adult and you have the mind capacity to create this. And it might be $1 billion idea too. That when you were a kid, you had this idea when you were playing with your bike. And then you forgot that idea. And now it's still been there, and now it's going to come up, and now you know what to do with this idea. Many things. Looking back at your relationships, it tells you a lot about yourself. Where you were when you were attracted to this person. What this person taught you. Where you fucked up with this person and where you could have been better. These relationships, these things are good to look back at and learn, you know what I mean? They're teaching tools. So we don't have to go back and repeat these relationships or these experiences, go back to a dead-end job or a dead-end relationship. Yeah. Hey, I love you guys. This was fun. Let's take the pitchfork to the mind a little bit later. And tomorrow we'll learn some happy snappy, and then Friday for sure we're going in. I'm just going to start all of these as, just the way that we do, but bring in some new ones. We'll start the Dark Night of the Soul teachings with Gaia. We'll go through the whole book and we'll start teaching them as much as we can. I won't stay in chapters. We'll just do what we can as we move through the chapters. And I'll turn straight to the Dark Night of the Soul. On page 17, this is the first step of your journey of renewal. To understand what is being presented to you is not a punishment or an injustice, but rather a rite of passage that will move you on to the next phase of your soul transformation. Yeah, I'll take you in there. We're going in. Till then, yeah, I'll see you later. Haters.